This town will not accommodate the numerical totality of our combined mass.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
In episode 4 of New Horizons, the Orville learns what happens when you put your trust in a zealot who doesn't believe in coexistence when Teleya returns. Now, with the backing of a movement Billy Joel definitely wouldn't approve of. Ed finds out he has a daughter, we're finally introduced to the president of the Planetary Union, and Bortus isn't the only member of the crew to get his tips waxed in the simulator. In this episode, we'll be taking a deeper look inside Gently Falling Rain, go down the Teleya timeline, chat with show writer-producer Brandon Braga on what makes the Orville different from Star Trek, and it's all happening right now on... Fallen Rain was written by Andre Bormanis and Brandon Braga and directed by John Cassar. But did you know that John came down with the flu for a week while filming? And many scenes were actually directed by Seth MacFarlane, including the Krill car chase.
It's okay, we got a navigator right here. Help me out, Charlie.
There, make a right.
Are you sure?
Nope.
Gently Falling Rain was created to pose the question, how do you know who to trust? In the previous season, Ed put his trust in Teleya to show her people that coexistence with humans is possible and mutually beneficial to both worlds. An exercise in finding common ground even with those who are radically off the deep end, both socially and politically. An experience that might ring true in the real world, some could say. The political discourse on Krill we see in this story stems from the events of the Season 2 episode, Blood of Patriots, where the Orville begins talks with the Krill to enact what could eventually become a treaty with the Union. It is exactly those talks that helped Teleya gain traction with her extremist movement to overthrow Krill. In Gently Falling Rain, we're also given a first-hand look at planet Krill and its capital city, DELUXE. For a world cast in complete darkness, it's actually quite beautiful in a bright lights city kind of way. Museums, skyscrapers, and a sprawling marketplace serving a large and vibrant population of Krill citizens all going about their daily lives. But I think we know the only thing Gordon really cares about.
Any good bars?
I will investigate.
Bortus, you don't have to investigate that.
I have already obtained the information.
Oh.
Shall I withhold it?
No, you can tell us.
There are bars.
How about strip clubs?
Gordon.
Sorry.
There are strip clubs.
This episode also introduces something new to the series that we've never seen before, an alien delicacy that doesn't taste like poo. For years, Captain Mercer has always chosen to pretend alien foods tasted good so as to not offend. You know Ed, always the diplomat. But Krill Copsid cider turns out to be delicious.
Wow.
That's fantastic. My God, could we get a case of this?
Ed and Gordon first meet Teleya in the Season 1 episode Krill while infiltrating a Krill ship. Teleya was the ship's school teacher, but ended up being taken as prisoner by the Union at the end of the episode. In the Orville comic, The Word of Avis, Teleya is able to escape imprisonment by indoctrinating Union scientists into the Krill religion and convincing them to return her to Krill. In the Season 2 episode Jaloja, the Orville gets a new member of the crew, Janelle Tyler, who seems to have a romantic interest in Captain Mercer. But in Nothing Left on Earth Excepting Fishes, we learn that Janelle is actually Teleya, disguised as a human. She kidnaps Ed, but after a dangerous escape where the two must survive being hunted by an enemy race of Choctaw, Ed lets Teleya return to her people in the hopes of finding common ground for coexistence. All of Teleya's appearances lead to Gently Falling Rain, where instead of finding commonality, she's become a radical leader of the underground movement to overtake the Krill government and return to an even more fundamentalist society to make Krill great again. We also learn that Teleya has a half-human child with Ed that could upend her entire reign as Chancellor. But that's not all. We'll see more from Teleya later in the season. In Gently Falling Rain, we're introduced to the President of the Planetary Union. Which sci-fi series did this well-known actor who played President Alazon star in? Was it A, Black Mirror, B, Battlestar Galactica, C, Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, or D, Babylon 5? Don't enter that glory hole just yet. You must return to the dance for the answer.
Who are they?
Parents to a child who will never be.
Is this the kind of world you want your daughter to grow up in? Our daughter.
Take Captain Mercer back to his cell.
Which sci-fi series did the actor who played President Alazon originally star in? A. Black Mirror, B. Battlestar Galactica, C. Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, or D. Babylon 5? The answer is, of course, D. Babylon 5. The role of Alazon is played by none other than Bruce Boxleitner, who played Commander John Sheridan on Babylon 5. The character of John Sheridan eventually became the president of the Interstellar Alliance. Besides his role as Alazon, Bruce also narrates the Orville's very first novella available on Audible. Sympathy for the Devil, written by Seth MacFarlane, is available now on Amazon.com.
The Orville, Sympathy for the Devil, written by Seth MacFarlane, read by Bruce Boxleitner.
What sets the Orville apart from your previous works, and what sets New Horizons apart from the previous 2 seasons of the Orville?
The Seth MacFarlane of it all, first and foremost, in that we're all fans of science fiction and Star Trek and all the different kinds of science fiction is out there. But what Seth did was create a more naturalistic cast of characters. And the dynamic is quite different. It's more like you and me. And a lot of the humor, the character humor comes from that. And so immediately you feel that difference from the very first episode. But Seth's dictum was story first always. So when we break out these stories, we're not breaking comedies, we're breaking what the story is. That breadth of tone is different than Star Trek for me, having written so many episodes. Holy cow, you have some stuff coming your way. It's gonna knock your socks off.
Hello.
What's your name?
Anaya.
That's a pretty name.
What's yours?
I'm Ed.
That's a funny name. You look funny.
Thanks, I get that a lot.
In this episode, Ed meets his daughter, Anaya, for the first time. Her name means gently falling rain in Krill. Teleya provides for the girl but has no contact with her whatsoever, and she's confined to a home with no chance of ever seeing the outside world. The Union wants Ed to reveal Anaya to Krill society to help turn Teleya's followers against her, but Ed doesn't want to use his daughter as a pawn. What do you think? Should Captain Mercer use Anaya's existence to bring down his enemy, or should he find a chance to save his daughter from captivity? Perhaps we'll see Anaya again in a 4th season of the Orville. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. The Krill have proven to be a pretty dangerous adversary in the Orville universe, and they get only more dangerous as New Horizons continues. A huge theme of this season is coexistence, the hope that our similarities will outweigh our differences in a path to peace. Do you think Teleya can ever be redeemed despite her dark actions, or will the sun finally come out tomorrow? If you're a fan of Talking the Orville and want to see more videos like this, help support the channel by becoming a Patreon or channel member. There are even more ways to support in the description below. And if you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you very soon, and remember, we all do better when we all do better.